Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, I did give a heads up on this video in the last video, and this, of course, is about Geoffrey. She has, I was going to say made her biggest mistake, that's not true, but she has made her latest mistake. Lorna Slater has decided that, by her decision, it will be a case of the Green SNP government going to court, probably losing, having to pay the compensation that they are going to have to pay, but this time adding to it all those legal bills, because she is saying that she's not going to pay compensation to businesses who invested all this money for her failed project, the DRS. But, you know, that's up to her. This is a woman, of course, who was promoted way beyond her talents. To be honest, if she was stacking the shelves at Sainsbury's, she'd have been promoted well beyond her talents. The only thing going for her in terms of shelf stacking is being so amazingly tall. She can reach the top shelf, and put the exclusive stuff up there, out of the way of the likes of Patrick Harvey. Of course, he'd never reach the top shelf, despite that being where all the magazines he likes are. Anyway, we'll have a look at this story and see what's going on, and see why Lorna Slater has once again cocked it up, because, poor old Geoffrey, she's not very bright. Here goes. Right, before we get into it again, I will ask again, please, all you seekers of truth, to help the truth be spread, to help the truth come out, do please hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. It does help the channel, and it ensures that I can continue to keep the truth coming, because obviously being political, YouTube shrinks us down, and they sort of overly judge us and sometimes overly censor us because of the subject matters. So the more people that subscribe, the wider we go, the more the truth can come out. And we do love the truth, because we know the truth ultimately damages people like Lorna Slater. Anyway, Lorna Slater blasted as the government confirms no deposit return scheme compensation for businesses. And in that line, they will be gathering their forces together, girding their loins, phoning their lawyers, and marching off to the High Court with writs for damages, and that the SNP Green government, we really should call it the Green SNP government, after all, it is effectively the Greens running the show, will have to go to court and try and defend it, lose, and be forced to pay lots and lots of public money out to these businesses, and then the bills will come in, all the legal bills. But she doesn't care, it's not her money. Perhaps we should change the rules and make ministers responsible. That would be nice. Anyway, the Scottish Greens minister faced a vote of no confidence over her handling of the recycling scheme. And a little tangent on that, only one man in the SNP had the balls to say he had no confidence in her. Well done, Fergus. Anyway, she failed to meet with the SNP leadership contenders despite their public comments creating uncertainty about the initiative. She also failed, if you remember, and I've covered this as well, to meet with any of the representatives of the recycling industry, because she knew full well what they would tell her, that you didn't need glass, but she needed glass. If she didn't get glass in it, it wasn't going to work for her. But everyone in the recycling industry said, no, it's a brilliant idea. It's going to work. It'll be brilliant. We just don't need glass, because glass was already recycled to such a high level. Anyway, Lorna Slater has been blasted after the Scottish Government confirmed that businesses who forked out cash, lots of it indeed, for the failed deposit return scheme will not be handed any compensation. The Scottish Greens minister made the decision to collapse the recycling initiative back in June, after being told by the UK government to get rid of glass from it. Because glass is already there. We don't need to worry about recycling glass. It's already one of the most recycled products in the country. But she couldn't accept it, and we've covered why 100 times. Anyway, a number of organisations have already bought in equipment or renovated their stores to make them ready for it to launch in March 2024 at great expense. Money that could have been spent elsewhere. The Scottish Grocers Federation and the British Soft Drinks Association were two bodies who had invested millions, tens of millions, into the project and have looked at getting some of their money back, which they're entitled to. It wasn't them who who cancelled the project. It wasn't them who said that it wasn't viable. They were saying, yes, it was perfectly viable. Thank you very much. In response to a Freedom of Information request from the Scottish Daily Express, government officials doubled down on Humza Yousaf and Miss Slater's position that no more public money will be spent on compensating businesses. Well, I think it's not their decision. This will be the decision of the High Court. They wrote, the overwhelming feedback from businesses in June was that they could not prepare for a March 2024 launch following the UK government's Internal Market Act decision. This is clearly a lie. Right now, I'm going to say straight up there that this is clearly a lie. All the businesses were geared up to go. All they needed to do was a start date. The problem was the Scottish government did not want glass excluded because they wanted ownership of glass. And so they collapsed it rather than letting it go ahead. And then they used that to create the division, to say it was Westminster's fault. Oh, look, another fault for Westminster. More division, let's have independence. Rather than, actually, it will work. Let's get on and do a job, get something right and have something to show for it. Rather than just wanking all that money away because we need to create division. Because they're petulant little children. A considerable majority of businesses therefore supported the only remaining option given Westminster's intervention, which was to reset the date to match that of the UK's stated target of October 2025 at the earliest, which is now going to be set back. It won't be ready by October 2025. It's looking now to be early 2027. Now, people will say, oh yes, but they've got to invest in that anyway. Yes, but that's investing 3-4 years down the line. There's a thing called opportunity cost. And that is, if you spend money now on one thing, you can't spend it on something else. And you may need that money, that capital there, to upgrade a store or to make repairs, or something else has gone. But you can't because you've spent it there. Money that you were supposed to invest to bring an income in is now just sitting, withering away. That has a cost. That is a damage, and that is entirely suable. Anyway, we do not consider that the action we've been required to take gives rise to any obligation to pay compensation. We don't care what you consider. It's what the courts consider. And trust me, on this one, the courts will say, yes, there are damages because of opportunity cost in business. It's a genuine thing. And all these businesses have to do is show that the money's tied up when they needed it for other things. That's a damage, and the government are liable. End of story. There is no argument on that. Businesses who had paid the handling fees to SEPA were given a refund. I can't say the word. Words are hard. While a number of organisations are owed money by Circularity Scotland, which plunged into administration with a loss of millions to the taxpayer. The Scottish Government also confirmed that Ms Slater failed to arrange meetings with any of the SNP leadership contenders during the contest, despite their differing opinions on the doomed project. Kate Forbes indicated she would like to either axe it or tweak it after listening to business concerns. Ash Regan backed the option to completely cancel it, and Humza Yousaf wanted it to continue in its current form because he's an idiot. And despite these differing opinions and the fourth Gateway review identifying these thoughts as bringing in as much uncertainty to the programme delivery, Ms Slater never dealt with this through meetings. Not with them, not with business leaders, not with industry leaders, certainly not with people involved in the recycling industry as a whole. She didn't want that because they would have told her, screw glass, you don't have glass, everything else is fine. And that's not what she wanted. So if she didn't have the meeting, she wouldn't have heard it, and then she can officially deny knowledge, even though she knew full well. And so this is all down to her. The DRS was her biggest fail. This, of course, is just her latest fail. Again, it's ignorance, stupidity, incompetence, all wrapped up in one very tall, very stupid bimbo. I can't even think of words to describe how thick this woman is. Certainly someone who should no account be given any kind of authority. You know, let's put her back in Sainsbury's, but she'd need training. You know, it's a long way up to that top shelf. I'm coming up. Now, I just do want to make it clear. I mean, I don't think Lorna Slater is a bad person. I don't think she's evil. I don't think she sets out to do things to deliberately harm people. Don't think she's clever enough for that. I think she's just incredibly stupid. Now, there's some in the SNP who I do think are evil, that I do think deliberately set out to harm people. But not Lorna. I think she is just thick. You know, literally, I can't actually think how she functions as a human being with an IQ that is room temperature at best. And let's say it's a cool room. But what do? Somebody looked at her and said, yeah, we'll make her a minister. That person is, well, that's even more incompetent than she could possibly be. Although, that's hard to believe, isn't it? Anyway, the sooner they're out, the better. Geoffrey can sod off back to Canada. You know, the little leprechaun can sod off back to where he's most loved, in the IRA-filled halls of Dublin pubs. And the rest of us can get on and live our lives free from the interference of the stupid and the bad. Anyway, I shall finish there, and I hope this video has earned a subscription. And certainly a like. I think this is an excellent video myself, if I do say so myself. So you go ahead and hit that like button as well. Anyway, until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, Lorna Slater is as dumb as she looks. Bye.